Hi everyone. I hope you're all staying safe and or are making your way to a quick recovery. I'm incredibly excited to be part of this panel and a big shout out to the event organizers for making this happen today. I'm Prerna Dogra and I'm a senior product manager at NVIDIA. I'm an engineer at heart and will always be one. After completing my MS in computer science and engineering, I fell in love with GPU programming and spent early days of my career writing device driver software for video games. Through the years, I got more curious about the translation of engineering efforts into shipping products and their business impact, which eventually landed me into product management. Currently at NVIDIA, I'm responsible for building and productizing developer platforms that enable researchers and data scientists in healthcare to harness the power of GPUs using artificial intelligence and high-performance computing. It has never been more important to put powerful AI tools in the hands of world's leading medical researchers, and I'm delighted today to have the opportunity to share with you all the incredible work of our partners and the engineers and researchers at NVIDIA. Through my talk, I will walk through the landscape of accelerated computing and how it has been applied from an NVIDIA standpoint in the fight against COVID-19. So we look at the last 25 years, right? Since the advent of accelerated computing, we've seen significant improvements that have really advanced the state of the art for AI, HPC, advanced visualization, and data analytics across several industries. Enormous speed ups to compute have been made possible with the combination of CPUs, GPUs, and data processing units. However, full stack innovation across an entire infrastructure is only made possible with networking, software acceleration, and development libraries and SDKs, which when combined with the compute hardware, provide a robust foundation for researchers to solve some really hard problems. It is through this acceleration and this computing platform that we serve our rich ecosystem of developers at NVIDIA and within the healthcare team. Now, if we look at the healthcare industry specifically, this year marked many of its defining moments. With the devastation caused by the pandemic, the healthcare industry has truly catalyzed its adoption of modern technologies. So on the left-hand side, we see the plethora of digital health data that's being generated at hospitals. We need to be able to harness the potential of this data and create AI models that we call skills. These skills are domain specific, they're domain specialized, and they need to be deployed to derive insights. The deployment of these AI-powered applications is very different from the software of the past. Some of these algorithms need to be deployed for real-time processing inside an instrument like an ultrasound machine or a genome sequencer, while others are deployed inside the walls of a hospital and some on the cloud. COVID-19 undoubtedly has been one of the biggest threats to human society, and it indeed has catalyzed, as I mentioned, the need to accelerate healthcare research, innovation, and deployment. To answer the call to action on COVID-19, the National Science Foundation and the Department of Energy formed a consortium of 38 members from federal government, industry, and academia. And all the national supercomputing centers came together to provide access to world's most high-performing computing resources with 43,000 GPUs in support of COVID-19 research. This itself was a testament to the need of maximizing researcher productivity in the early phases of the outbreak. Like many other technology companies, we at NVIDIA wanted to contribute. We wanted to apply everything we know to a fight against the pandemic. We essentially doubled down and supercharged the NVIDIA CLARA platform for our developers and researchers. One of our first initiatives was to make CLARA PARABRICS software available for free so that everybody who could put genomics to work could do so and accelerate the understanding of any variants in human population that made some people more susceptible to severe COVID symptoms. Another technology in genomics that has been critical is Oxford Nanopore's genome sequencer that enables monitoring of the viral transmission and its evolution. We were able to take and build a biomedical natural language model that studied 6.1 billion words of PubMed to create a state-of-the-art language model domain specialized for biomedicine. We worked with collaborators at the National Institute of Health to build AI models for CT lung classification that can assist doctors with disease prognosis. We also mobilized one of the largest global federated learning program to build a generalizable AI model for oxygen prediction so that within 24 hours of being admitted, AI could assist in predicting whether supplemental oxygen would be needed or not. Incredible inventions have been coming across the entire industry, like the hyperfine mobile MRI, which helps bringing imaging to the patient, a new paradigm that we will see a lot more of in the years to come. We built off our technology in computer vision and speech for CLARA Guardian, using regular cameras, microphones to build virtual assistants so that nurses can interact with patients without having to enter the COVID ICU or the patient's room. We also launched CLARA Discovery this GTC that essentially brings our decades worth of work in high performance computing and artificial intelligence to the holy grail of healthcare research. Through the rest of my talk, I will take the opportunity and elaborate on these initiatives. So let's start by understanding more closely the computational drug discovery pipeline. Now, I'm sure most of us have seen this image from CDC of the COVID-19 viral particle and the red spike protein. The quest of the scientific and research community has really been to find a molecule that can attach and modulate the function or the structure of this target protein. And as you can imagine, this isn't an easy task, because understanding disease continues to be one of the greatest human endeavors, making drug discovery incredibly hard. Taking over a decade to develop with over $2.5 billion in R&D, and yet 90% of the efforts fail. This is basically the inverse of Moore's law and is called the EROOM'S law, where R&D productivity in drug discovery is declining exponentially over the past several decades. COVID-19, however, hits home the urgency to accelerate this data-driven computational drug discovery pipeline and maximize the researchers' productivity. That is why we launched the NVIDIA CLARA Discovery that can be applied across the drug discovery process, combining accelerated computing and artificial intelligence in genomics, microscopy, computational chemistry, visualization, clinical imaging, and natural language processing. Drawing your attention to the left-hand side, we start with the genetic code itself. The DNA includes the sequence of amino acids that make up the protein. It is through genome sequencing that we identify a target protein, and that in itself is an enormous task and was achieved by understanding the structural protein regions of COVID-19. And finally, we had the RNA sequence of the spike protein. The next step after identifying a target protein is structure prediction. We need a 3D structure of the protein to work with. The cryo-electron microscope imaging and 3D reconstruction allow us to see the protein structure and determine its function. Once we have a starting structure, we can get to docking, which truly is the heart of what we are trying to solve. Docking calculations allow us to screen billions of small molecules through databases and essentially predict the interaction of these small molecules with the target protein. However, just understanding the interaction between these target protein and the chemical drug candidate is not sufficient. We want to be able to modify the protein structure or function in a way that is useful for the eventual discovery of the drug. Molecular dynamic simulations is what makes that possible. With molecular dynamic simulations, we can analyze the physical motion of a protein and its interaction with a chemical drug candidate. Once we have a drug candidate, then using pathology and radiology imaging, biomarkers are studied to understand the effectiveness of a drug. Natural language processing is applied to study publications and health records to find chemicals that might be repurposed for other diseases. This is our decades worth of work with our partners in high performance computing and scientific visualization, which is now being turbocharged with deep learning and machine learning approaches. We at NVIDIA are committed and see the immense possibilities for acceleration with data-driven drug discovery, and hence at GTC Fall this year, we announced the GSK-NVIDIA partnership to build the first AI drug discovery lab of its kind. This is an incredible milestone for us. Like I shared, the journey to study disease really starts with the genome sequencing. And this is an enormous task, right? So the genomic data is the largest biomedical data set on the planet. And the main reason for that is plummeting costs of genome sequencing and analysis that can be done much faster with GPU computing. The first sequence for the SARS-CoV-2 or the COVID-19 really came from Wuhan in January 2020 from the lung fluid of a patient. Extracted RNA was converted to DNA and was sequenced on Illumina and Oxford Nanopore's sequencers. However, just having the sequence of the viral genome is not sufficient. As you can imagine, due to viral mutation, there are many different viral sequences which need to be analyzed to understand the mutations that might make the virus more potent or contagious. With these factors at play, genomic analysis is one of the best tools we have in understanding and fighting infectious diseases, from studying epidemiology of the viral genome to sequencing the single-cell RNA, which helps us understand which of the cells will respond to infection and treatment, to studying population genetics and identifying genetic features that make certain people more susceptible to severe COVID symptoms. Computational genomics spans the entire spectrum, and as you can imagine, when you're in pandemic, speed of research is pivotal. And for that reason, to accelerate cross-disciplinary research and development in computational genomics, drug discovery, NLP, and imaging, we have built Cambridge One, a 400 petaflop AI supercomputer dedicated to healthcare research in collaboration with our partners including AstraZeneca, Biobank, NHS UK, GSK, King's College London, and Oxford Nanopore. We truly hope our endeavors would bend the trajectory of EROOM'S law and will lead to faster and more effective research and development of life-saving drugs. Another crucial field in healthcare that has been critical in studying the impact of COVID-19 on infected patients is medical imaging, which is also the home ground for NVIDIA CLARA. We collaborated with our partners at National Institute of Health and built AI models for COVID CT classification. With thousands of diverse images collected globally and labeled by expert radiologists at NIH, this co-development was done in less than 4 weeks' time. These and other arsenal of COVID AI models are available for free as part of CLARA imaging, giving a kickstart to researchers across the globe. Another technology that we placed our bets on is CLARA federated learning. Federated learning fundamentally is a collaborative learning paradigm where a distributed network of sites can collaborate to build more robust AI models without sharing any data. This is very crucial in healthcare domain as data is private by nature. Federated learning allows for more robust, generalizable AI models to be built as sites share partial model weights and not data in a privacy-preserving and secure way, and a global model is iteratively built by aggregating these partial weights. As COVID-19 pandemic spread globally, We were motivated to bring our best minds and technology to push the envelope for federated learning. We, along with our partners, asked if it was feasible to build an AI model that had learned from diversity of COVID cases across the globe. The result? We mobilized 20 global partner institutions around the world from USA, UK, Thailand, Brazil, Canada, Japan, Taiwan, who used CLARA federated learning to build a robust AI model for COVID-19 oxygen prediction using chest X-ray and EHR data. The model achieved an AUC of 0.93 and outperformed every locally trained AI model. The network architecture was a variant of ResNet type image feature extraction network with some domain specialized neural network layers and an attention module that combines the image features with the EHR data. The resulting model predicted within 24 hours of a patient being admitted whether extra oxygen would be needed or not. Federated learning as a core technology has immense potential in healthcare, and I truly can't wait to see what the future holds for CLARA federated learning. To summarize, we at NVIDIA are working with our partners across the entire spectrum, from containment and mitigation to treatment, tracking, and monitoring. From Oxford Nanopore being able to sequence the viral genome in just 7 hours using our technology, to Oak Ridge and Scripps being able to screen billions of drug compounds in a day versus a year, to enabling reconstruction of the 3D structure of the viral spike protein as done at NIH and UT Austin, to building AI COVID-19 classification models in collaboration with NIH, to tracking and monitoring solutions like the Kiwi bot that deliver medical supplies autonomously, and whiteboard coordinator that automatically measure and screen for elevated body temperatures. Researchers and scientists are applying NVIDIA's accelerated computing to save lives, and this is the perfect example of our purpose. As a final takeaway, I would say there are 3 things we could do today to fight COVID-19 that we couldn't have done 5 short years ago because of accelerated computing and artificial intelligence. 1. We can generate more biomedical data per day than ever before. 2. We can do simulation and AI computing at exascale, which makes screening of 1 billion drugs in 24 hours possible. And 3. We can invent with AI faster than ever before. No other time in the history has the combination of healthcare and technology been more important to a fight against COVID and the future fights with infectious diseases. With that thought, I will wrap my talk. Thank you all so much for your time today. Stay safe and stay healthy.